Welcome back, GRD 121 W1, to our path practice exercises in Gravit. And this one's going to be called 8B. And this one will be tracing more obvious shapes instead of just circles and round corner triangles and things like that. There'll be a glass and a logo letter B. So let's get started. This is the shared link. You're going to click on this one. And I already have an account open, so it should go right into my Gravit account. Now it's opening in a new window. So if I have this open, the one I had open, I should actually close this window and make sure that I just have one tab open here. So this is called 8B, Glass B. I'm already in my account, so I could go right here and just save to cloud as. And all I want you to do is just put your last name after it, first initial, and then remember, just hit enter. And just kind of own it from the one that's shared, just so it doesn't have the exact same name. And it's the same kind of thing. It's just one page for this one, and we have two shapes here, so we're going to zoom into them, and we're going to trace them with the pen tool. And instead of doing setup shapes, these are kind of closed paths that we're going to work on. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to do the glass first. And you can scroll as you go, so you don't have to have the whole thing in the window. You could start with the top part, and that's what I'm going to do here. And then you could scroll as you keep working. So I'm going to zoom into this top part. And what I'll do first is click on my pen tool, and it's still showing up purple here. I guess I'll leave it purple. It seems to have a problem when I try to make it green, so I'll leave it purple. Let me see if I can make it green. I'll make it green again. Just click down here, and maybe I'll make it thicker. I'll make it 2 point, and then I'll click down here, and hopefully it'll make it thicker. And actually, this point's off a little bit, so you could be right on the point. You don't have to be on that red thing. And these are all locked anyway, so we're going to be making a new path. So I'm going to start with the easy one first. I'll go straight across. So I'll click here, and then I'll click here, because that's a straight line segment. And then I'll come down here, and you can see what's happening. I'm making a straight line segment, but it's kind of like an S shape. So I'm going to go here and drag and kind of make an inner shape. I'll go down and just kind of align that on it. And then what I could do, this thing will be way too long. I'm going to click here and get rid of that. And then I'm going to go here. Now, it's not making a curve, so I have to make one. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to make one and just drag out. Now, it may not be perfect. It's okay if it's not perfect. You may not be able to get it perfectly on there. I mean, that may be okay. And then I'll leave go. And then, because this handle's coming over there, I need to click on it and get rid of that forward point. And then I'm going to scroll down. And then I'll do the bottom part. Now this, again, these red things, I should probably fix them, but ignore the red things, but they're kind of showing you where it's supposed to be. It must have gotten moved somehow. But I'm just going to click there. You want to trace over the gray part. That's the important thing. I want to click. So it's a straight line, so I'm going to click. Now down here, you can see what's happening. It's making a straight line. I don't want a straight line. I want to click and drag and make that backward handle kind of follow that little dip. So it's going to go out and follow that little dip. Again, I'm going to the right, yet my handle going to the left is the one that's actually making the bottom of that glass. And that looks pretty good. And again, I don't need a forward handle, so I'll click on it. And now this is really hard to see, so I'll zoom in a little bit more down here while I'm still working. I'm just going to click right here. It's just going to be a straight line, so I'm just going to click. And then I'll go over here and I'll click. And then I'll go over here and click. These red things might be more annoying. I may have to take them off. And then I'm just going to click again. Because when you make your straight line segments, just click. And now when I go here, you could see what's going to happen. Before I leave go, you could see it's making a straight line. So just like the other one, I'm going to drag and just kind of like I'm kind of going up. Like I'm putting my arms up in the air like a big, the big finish, putting my arms up in the air sideways like that. And the back arm is the one that's making that arc go down like the bottom of the glass. And then I'll leave go. Now, I don't want that one going over there because you can see what's happening. If I continue, it's already going in that direction. So I'm just going to click on there. That gets rid of that handle. And I'll scroll up. And I'll click here and just do the straight line segment first. And I'll scroll up again. And I have this one. And obviously, what am I going to do here? I'm going to click and drag and make the backward handle make that little belly of the glass. So I'm going to go here and just kind of go up. And if you go in the wrong direction, just turn around and drag down. So I'm kind of following the glass. I'm following the glass. And that looks pretty good. Again, it's not going to be perfect. So if it's not perfect, don't worry about it. So I'm going to go there. And then I'm going to go up. Now, I have my last thing here, so I could get rid of this handle and then finish it off at the end. So you have a couple choices here. I think what I'll do is I'll click and get rid of the handle and then finish it off here and just click and drag. I'll click and drag. Now this may affect the top, so we may have to, oh no, that's okay. So that's all I'm doing is just kind of dragging there and kind of going, so the back handle, it's odd, it's not even showing me a front handle. I've never seen that before, but I'm dragging like that and the back handle is making that little dip in, and that's all I want. And I'm done, and that's my glass. And I can go back because this may have to be tweaked a little bit. You can go back and tweak it a little bit. They're not lined up perfectly. You know, the idea is not to be perfect. The idea is to get your points in the right place. So you could move this up and actually line it up exactly where the other one's at. And, you know, this one does not have a handle coming down. This one does have a handle. So they're a little bit different there. I did them, as you go around, they're a little different. This one has the handle of this belly thing here. This one has the handle of the belly thing there. Now, it's not a big problem. It makes this one a little pointier. So you could always go back and change that, but that's not a big deal. The idea is you're putting your anchor points where you want them, and you're getting it as smooth as you can. You could always change those things later, but the whole idea is not to be going around here, click, 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 going all around, making a lot of straight line segments that you have to edit. So that's our glass. So that looks pretty good. And it should just look something like that. And there's always different ways to do it. So if you don't do it exactly like me, and then it still comes out fine, great. Just as long as you're not making more anchor points. That's what we want to avoid, making too many anchor points. So let's move on to the B here. I'll kind of fill up my screen with this B thing. And I'll even get rid of my inspector. So I have more room over here. I could still keep it nice and big. I could probably fit everything. Although my handles will probably, I'll zoom out a little. My handles will probably take me off screen. Sometimes your handles will make you scroll. If you ever worked in Illustrator, that really makes your screen go fast. Sometimes that can be really frustrating. So pen tool, and I'll start at a flat area or a straight line area. I'll click, click, and then I'll go here, and you can see what I have to do. I'm just going to actually kind of drag a little bit. And then down here, I'm not going to do anything but just click. Now, you might say, well, it's not perfect. That's okay. We can tweak it. It's not meant so this is tweak free. You're supposed to tweak it. But as long as you have the curves the way they're supposed to be, that's all that matters. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to make another curve. So I'll click and drag, and just do a little bit, and that's okay. Now, this handle will probably be too short for this part over here. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click and drag, and this will not be perfect. Well, actually that looks pretty good. Now I don't need this long forward handle, so I'm going to click on it. And why? Because there's a straight line segment here. So I'm going to click. Now we got a curve here. So I'm going to go to the next point and I'm going to curve, and I'm going to follow the curve. Remember, follow which way the curve is going. Follow it. Follow it. See that? I'm following the curve. And the back arm or the back handle is kind of going along that loop down at the bottom of that little fin coming out. And then here, I'm just going to click because I don't want the forward handle. And then I'm going to go here and click and drag. And then same thing, the backward handle is making that little fin thing. And then again, I don't need the forward handle, so click on it. And then go over here. Now this is just repetition. Click and drag. Get rid of the forward handle. Go here. Click and drag. Get rid of the forward handle. Click and drag. Get rid of the forward handle. Click and drag. Get rid of the forward handle. Click and drag. Get rid of the forward handle. And then here I'm going to have to click and drag. That's weird that it makes that front handle almost disappear. I've never seen that before. And that looks pretty good. Now I would have to go back with my sub-select tool and fix this because this looks a little off. Just because I put the points there doesn't mean it's perfect. And same thing here. This may have to be tweaked a little bit, just like when we were working on the leaves. Some of this stuff may have to be tweaked a little bit. Some of the points may have to be moved a little bit. That's the idea, that you're going to tweak this, but you want to make sure that you have the right anchor points. You have the right foundation, I guess, for this. Now there's inner paths here. So the last thing we have to do is make these little inner paths, and you could probably make one and just copy it. But I'm going to click, 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 and then just make it like a little house, except drag on the top of the house. And then go here. You don't have to do anything there. And now it's going to be too much of a curve. You can see it's too much, but that's okay. Just click and click. And then you'd have to go back, and I'll zoom into it. And I'd have to go back and fix it. So I'd take my direct selection tool, I'd click on this, and I'd shorten that handle because the handle for that one is a little too long. And you can see this is not a mirrored handle because I need this handle being shorter. That's why on the leaf one, when we worked on the oak leaf, we had handles that worked at different lengths. So I want this one to be a little shorter. This one's a little longer. So that looks okay. It may not be perfect in terms of angle, and that could be just the way I created it. That may be better like that. And you could do the other one, or you could do it again, or you could copy that. I'll do it again just to get more practice. I'll just click, click, and then here's the point here that I just want to click and drag. And then I'll finish it off, and when I do that, the handle's a little too long. You can see the handle's too long, but that's okay. I'll fix it later. Click, click, and I'll click, and I'll go back with my sub-select tool, and I'll just shorten this handle. And if I have to move the point in a little, that looks pretty good. So that looks good. Now, one last thing I'll do with this one was pretty easy, is I'm actually going to select this shape, and I'll select it with my regular pointer, and I'll bring out my inspector again, and I'll give it a fill. And it's like a black color right now. I'll give it a fill of, I guess, green. Give it a fill of green. Maybe give it a fill of orange so I can see stuff better, so I can see my lines. Now these things, you see this thing here? If I just highlight these, I'm just going to go and do a subtract. I want to pop these out so they make holes there. Let me see if that works. Oh, that works. Okay, as long as they're on top, as long as those shapes are on top, that makes a compound path. So then I can go here and, if I change the color of this to blue or something, or purple or anything like that. So I didn't have to do anything. I just turned it into a compound shape by using subtract so that these actually punch holes out. Because if you actually wanted to use it as a logo, you'd want these things as holes. You just have to make sure that they're on top. It would have helped to label my paths a little bit better, but that's all you have to do here. If you don't kind of get to that part, if you have any problem with that part, just let me know. I'll help you with that. But that shouldn't be that bad. And I turned it into a compound shape so they have holes in the middle now. And you could certainly color your glass or fill it or whatever you want. But that is 8B. That's glass B. Just those two paths there that we worked on one page. And we're going to do one more shape of kind of practicing before we start to do some more intricate tracing, because we want to trace, cool shapes. We don't just want to do this real simple stuff, but this is practice for us. So on our next one, we're going to do a fish, only because it has a lot of different angles and a little different change of directions on it. So we'll do that one for our 8C, but this is 8B. When you're done with this, click out of here, make sure you save it. And it looks like it is saved. It looks like it auto-saved because this is gray. And I'm just going to share it and copy it. And for the path practice glass B, don't click on this link because that's the shared link. You want to go here on the assignment link and just add a comment and add a link and paste it. Choose new window, hit OK, hit save, and you're done with 8B. And then you just have 8C as far as your path practice to finish up.